Good morning. Blue steering wheel and some crazy light today. This is my BMW 528i, but it identifies as a B10 Alpina. And in 2023, you could be what you want to be. Quick video because I'm driving off for a valet, because I'm collaborating with Lee, the Mac Master, this morning. He's on his way down in his blue Porsche, so we're going to park his blue Porsche up next to my blue BMW, have some breakfast, talk cars, talk electric car fires. I'll value his car, we'll run a value 3 We Buy Any Car, and I think we're both going to try and drive each other's cars at 20 miles an hour as well. Wow, the light is going crazy. Not unlike myself, but I like it. I look a little bit like some sort of I look like an actor in a film where I should have like a pickup truck, don't you think, with my hat? Things that children say. I had a conversation with my kids this morning, and they're obviously, you know, at primary school, so they're into, they talk about environmentalism, and the school focused quite heavily the other day, it seemed, from the conversations that I had with my children, on the Sahara sand, which is actually all over this car still. We're going to get stuck at a traffic light here. I wonder what the light's going to be like. Look how dirty that window is. Worst light ever for a Jeff video. Back to the point. So the kids came home telling me all about the Sahara sand, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I watched a video on TikTok yesterday of a guy who analysed it. I don't know on that one. Sky's pretty streaky today. That's not what I wanted to talk about. I was trying to explain the concept of the green movement / green agenda to the children, whilst putting it in children's terms. Both of them come home and said, how come some of the other parents at school have got electric cars? And I'll come on to that one in a second. But the analogy that I came up with for the kids is, I said to them, imagine you've got the worst bully at the whole school, right? And I said to them, come up with a name. And I came up with a name for this bully. And the bully bullies everyone in his class. He bullies everyone in all the other classes. And everybody knows that he's a bully. He's like the worst kid ever. He's mean to everyone. He's just a bad child, a bad bully who does all the bad things all the time and is nasty to everyone. And I said to them then, imagine that the school came up with an idea to combat bullying, and they wanted to put someone in charge of being in charge of stopping bullying. And you can see where this is going. And what they do, they have an assembly where they call everyone together and they say, right, the person who's going to be in charge with stopping the bullying that's going on in the school, it's all been done by this one kid, is this one kid. And then they pull up the bully and say that he's in charge of the bullying. And I was trying to explain that that's a little bit like the way the green movement works. We all want to be more environmental, and to do that we need to buy our environmental products from China, who is not very environmental. And I know there's a lot more to it than that, but it's quite hard to explain what's going on in the world to children without actually explaining it, because they're children and I want them to be children. I don't want them to watch my videos. I don't want them to understand most of what's going on. I want them to just, you know, focus on what Hot Wheels car they want next and all that sort of stuff. Kids need to be kids, but there also needs to be an awareness, and I'm not going to have them coming home from school and saying, Daddy, can we get an electric car because our diesel car is bad. On to the next one, which is, Daddy, how come some of the people at the school have electric cars and we don't? And electric cars are expensive. Kids have no idea about money. I've realised this, which is hilarious, because I said to them yesterday, oh, I had to push a car today and it was worth more than £1 million. And they both said to me, is that a lot? And I said, yeah, £1 million is quite a lot of money. But then I was trying to sort of explain how most people buy electric cars because they've been incentivized to do so. And I used the example of a friend of ours who's recently got an electric car, and the kids are impressed. Oh, she's got an electric car, that's fantastic. But what they don't realize is my friend can't afford to have an electric car charger point put at the house. Previously had a 2-litre diesel Renault as a company car, and drives all over the country, so is now having to spend a lot of her time, which work are paying for, charging the car at Aldi. Go figure. Then I was I tried to go further with explaining that concept. I said to them, kids, you know our Volvo, right? If we fill it full of diesel to the brim, how many miles can we go? And one of them said 20. It's like, come on, maths. And I said to them, look, we could probably go close to 700 miles on one tank. And if my friend fully fills her electric car, she could probably go 200 miles. So she needs to fill up 3 times to get the equivalent of 1 tank in the Volvo. But most importantly, each fill up could require 45 minutes, assuming a charger is available. So for every 700 miles that we drive to 1 tank of diesel, which is 10 minutes of putting fuel in, she has to fill up 3 times, which takes 2 hours and 15 minutes. And when you try to explain these concepts, it's interesting, because this is actually the 2nd time I filmed this video. I tried to film this video yesterday, but maybe I'll drop some of the footage in. But when you have conversations with children about the world, that's when you realise just how messed up everything is. When they ask the really basic questions, and as we swing round this roundabout, the light will go back to normal. Children ask the most basic questions, and so many times for adults, the answer is because that's just the way it is. That's not a good enough answer. That's not good enough to base your whole life around concepts and systems and modes of being, because that's what we do. Why do we do those things? Why do we work 5 days a week? Why do we only have certain holidays? Why do we worship the royal people who have all the money because they stole it from us many, many years ago? Why are all these things happening? It's quite fascinating, really. And the biggest question that I have right now is, why is the car wash not open? And on that bombshell, I'm going to have to go to the other car wash with the really, really moody guy. I don't like going to that car wash. I like this car wash. Why? Because that's just the way it is. Thanks for watching. Lots of cool video coming up, actually, and I'll show you some more around this car. But now, I'm going to have to drive to the other car wash. Yeah, yesterday I found myself pushing a £1 million Ferrari, which was dead exciting. And I also had a Jaguar XJR on full chat, accelerating away from a petrol station. I filmed that as well. And then I filmed a broken down electric car. So the road trip video for the BMW Alpina is going to be quite exciting, actually. Right, let's go get this car cleaned. Ready for Lee the Mac Master. How much is his Porsche worth? I'll open the bidding at 68 pence.